Hello friends, welcome to our channel SNK and Company. Let us begin with this week's updates under the Income Tax Act, GST law, and other corporate laws. We start with the Income Tax Act. The Supreme Court of India, in the case of Commissioner of Income Tax (LTU) versus Tata Motors Limited, dismissed the SLP filed against the High Court ruling which had held that where the assessee had entered into lease transactions in respect of its assets, it was entitled to claim depreciation on such leased assets. The Dehradun Tribunal, in the case of Schlumberger Solutions Private Limited versus ACID, held that where unpaid service tax liability was not routed through the profit and loss account and no deduction was claimed, disallowance under Section 43B could not be made. The Karnataka High Court, in the case of Abhishek Kamath Lathe versus ITO, held that where deemed dividend addition was deleted in the hands of the company and considered taxable in the hands of the shareholder, reassessment proceedings initiated against the director could not be treated as mere change of opinion. Accordingly, reopening notices were held to be valid. The Supreme Court, in the case of Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax versus Mahamaya Steel Industries Limited, upheld the deletion of addition made in search assessment where the assessing officer had estimated higher production without any incriminating material or defects in books. The court held that such additions were purely conjectural and not sustainable. The Madras High Court, in the case of Pallava Resorts Private Limited versus Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax, held that where land was classified as agricultural in revenue records and supported by documentary evidence of agricultural activity, such classification would prevail. Accordingly, the land was not treated as a capital asset under Section 214, and gains were not taxable as capital gains. Now we move to GST law updates. The Gujarat High Court held that where a rectification application against an appellate order rejecting ITC claim was disposed of without granting an opportunity of hearing, in violation of Clause 7 of Notification No. 2224, such order was in breach of principles of natural justice. The order was quashed and the matter was remanded for fresh consideration. The Orissa High Court held that where the GST Appellate Tribunal was earlier non-functional and is now constituted with an extended timeline for filing appeals up to June 30, 2026, the petitioner was required to comply with pre-deposit conditions and file appeal within the prescribed timeline. Now we move to other corporate and enforcement law updates. In the case of Rithwik Projects Private Limited versus Special Director, Directorate of Enforcement, FEMA, New Delhi held that where delay in filing Form FCGPR was attributable to the AD Bank and not the SSC, and there was no requirement for direct filing with RBI. Penalty imposed for delayed reporting was not sustainable and was directed to be set aside. The Supreme Court, in the case of Renuka versus State of Maharashtra, held that where a check issued pursuant to settlement was dishonored and the ingredients of Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act were satisfied, the presumption under Section 139 would apply. Such presumption could not be rebutted at the pretrial stage merely by disputing the existence of debt, and the complaint was directed to be restored. These were the key updates under income tax, GST, and corporate laws.